Hi everyone, it's Cheryl Wright from Ideas for Card Making, and I'm here today for you for Couture Creations, and I'm going to be making a page in a mini album. I've done, just very quickly show you a few bits and pieces. I'm going to run through this in another video, but this is the last page. That's really the last page, but I did that one. I want to do this one now. I haven't embellished it or anything yet, so let's get started. I just thought this would be an interesting project, something different, because I haven't done anything like this on camera before. I'm by no means an expert with the mini albums. I'm still learning. Anyway, I've pulled together a few scraps. These are all actually leftover pieces from other bits that I've already, other pages I've done. This page here matches that page, and what I've tried to do is match the papers in each of them. That one, I kind of messed that one up because I should have put that on there, but I actually put it under there. I may still cover that, but I think that looks good anyway. So, you know, you can see I've tried to match the double spreads. So anyway, let's get started on this, because this is going to be a bit longer video than normal. So this is going to be the first piece. I'm going to make a small pocket here. I'm going to put a band across here, and then yeah, that was the one. Then I'm going, and that's going to go from that side to that side, and this one's going to be the final one that goes across the top, and that's going to open from that side. Okay, I know it looks like absolutely nothing now, but believe me when I say it's actually quite easy to do. It's just a matter of knowing how to do it. So I've just cut this out. This is from a 12 by 12 sheet. The whole album is made with the Gentleman's Emporium collection. So this is from a 12 by 12. I actually ran out and I had to go out and buy some more. So I've still got a few pieces here. That's about all I've got left, apart from a handful of scraps. These ones here, I've got another one here that's a partial. I've got a handful of small scraps in a basket, because as I go along I keep all of them. These ones here are all leftovers from the scraps, apart from this one, which is from the 12 by 12. Oh, and I've got another little one here. I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to put on the band. Anyway, I'll start off by doing the pocket at the bottom, and this is going to be a small pocket because that band across there is going to hold down any photo mats that I put in. Now the first thing to do is you need to stretch your paper. Now I'm just using a bone folder. You can actually just do it like that, because if you don't stretch your paper, when you go to put the photo mats in, your paper won't lift, it won't move at all. So we just sort of break down the fibres a little bit. I mean, you don't have to be too pedantic about it, just kind of stretch it. Now, there's two ways to do this. I think the way I'm going to do it today, I'm just going to put some glue across the bottom, and I've got some, this one's an extra sticky glue. You can use double-sided tape. I prefer to use a bit of tacky glue, because I can move it if I put it in the wrong spot. That's the main reason. You can put a little bit of glue up there, but not too much, because we're going to bend that around. So I'm just going to put that on there like that. I'm going to make sure I've got a little bit either side. I'm not worried if it's not exactly the same. Don't worry about that bit of glue there, that's not going to be seen. Okay, I'll just sort of rub off any excess. Turn it over. Excuse me, that one's already got a little bit of glue. I'll put a bit more on there because I want this to hold down. Anything on the back here is not going to be seen. This is all going to be at the back. It'll all be glued down. Let me just find some tweezers, which I usually have my tweezers fall out anyway, but I haven't today because I've been making so many cards lately, and I've had a huge mess on this desk, and I've cleaned it up as best I could this morning. Okay, so I'm just going to put some tweezers on there just to give it a bit of extra hold for a minute. Put a bit more glue on that. I didn't do that one very well. Just get that over as best I can there. As long as you don't fold that paper, that's the main thing. You don't want to bend that up, so it's still going to be flat there. Okay, so I'll just put that on there. Excuse me. This is the piece of paper I'm going to use. I think these will be all right now. Okay, so what I did think initially, I thought I might put that on there, but I think it's a little bit too bland. So this is another piece I've got cut. What I am going to do is I've got that I'm going to put, no matter which way I do it, I'm just going to put that, just see how that kind of separates the paper. I've got a wider one here which I would have to cut down, and I may go for that one yet. I'll see, but that to me is a little bit bland. This one, it's the exact same piece because I've put it there. It's the exact same piece. So I could actually put that on there and just cut that down a little bit. So I think I'll do that because it gives it a bit more, it doesn't blend in so much. So I like to give about 1/8 of an inch there. So I'll just mark that there. This one, put that in the right spot. Mark that one. Just a fraction more. That one at about there, just so we've got a nice border. I've just grabbed my school board, my guillotine, mini guillotine. This is a Quechua Creations one. So I'm just going to cut that. That becomes scrap. So I've put that in the basket for use later. Excuse me, I'm really croaky today. Okay, so we cut that extra piece off. Get rid of that and the rubbish. Worth keeping that little bit. And then that goes on there. Now that's perfect. And I can just see a little tiny bit of pencil there that I marked. So I'm just going to use my creative detail. Let's get rid of that. Okay, you probably wouldn't have seen it. Most people wouldn't see it. So that actually continues that pattern on, and I'm much happier with that because it's also got some of that nice pattern that's here, which that one doesn't have. So I like that a lot better. So I'll just glue that on. Just don't overdo your glue so that it squirts out everywhere. Make sure your pattern is the right way around. And just add that on. Get that centered as best you can. Okay, I think that's straight. So there's your first pocket. Okay, now do we need to put that little piece on? Which one looks better? Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that actually finishes it off just that little tiny bit. So I'm just going to put, I don't want too much of this. I'm a bit worried about that. I might actually put something. I've got a finer glue here. I'm going to put that on because it won't spread out and it's a bit clogged. So I've just got to get the plug out of that. Just bear with me for a second. Yep, okay. Just the other one is a bit thicker. I just wanted a really fine line. Trying to get that to the top as much as I can. Get this piece. I'm just going to start from the very edge and just go across. And this will dry clear, so if there's any extra, any excess, it will dry clear and it won't be seen. Just push off as much as I can. Oh, now see, I've got a bit under there. If you do that, be careful, because you do not want to seal up your pockets. So just, if you do get some, make sure you get it off straight away. And I believe I've done that. Yep, I have. Okay, so we can put that glue away. I'm just going to get my Couture Creations craft knife and get that off, because I don't think I'll get close enough with the scissors. Just very gently. These are really sharp, so you don't even have to put a lot of pressure. I've moved that a bit now because the glue's not dry. I'll put that back. Okay. Alright, so that's our pocket. Alright, so that's the pocket done. So we'll put mats, we will have mats to put in there eventually. I haven't done any of that yet. I've just been doing the building up the album. So that's what that is for. And now we're going to put a band across there, which will hold the mats in place. So next I need, where's my thin piece? So this piece, now this page, I'll just show you again, this page here is going to be on this side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this band will open from that side, and the bigger one will open out that way, just because of which side I've put that on. Alright, so like this one, that one opens out that way. Alright, so we'll do that now. Get rid of that bit of rubbish. Okay, so what I want to do, that one is going to go across there. And this is my piece for the band, so that will cover that up. Alright, so I think that spot's okay. Yep, that spot's okay. So, just going to make sure that's straight. Okay, so I want that to come right to that edge. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to mark this, and I'm going to score this piece. And I have got my mini scorer here. I had it a second ago. I'll probably, yeah, I'll put my paper on it. Okay. Right, this is the new Couture Creations mini scoreboard. So, where did I put that mark? There it is there. Okay. That's not much good, is it? What I'm going to do here, I'm going to cut some of this off because that's actually a bit too long. I'll cut it back. I like to have about an inch from the fold. Yeah, I'll cut it back to about there. Just to have plenty to tuck in. So there's our mark there. So we'll score that. And then we're also going to score 1/8 further over. Okay, and I will show you in a second while we do that. I didn't fold that one very well. Let me just do that one again. Sorry, I didn't say that, did you? I'm just scoring folding the score lines, burnishing them down. Okay. Put that out of the way. This one will go, I'll just say about there. Now what we do is this second line is actually the fold line. So that bit, it goes onto there on the other side. Right, so it goes on like that. And like that, we do it on that, we glue it down on that fold line. And then we have that second score, and you see how that lifts up, and then when there's things in there, that just gives it a bit of space to move. Alright, so I'm just going to do that at about that level there. maybe a fraction further down, just so we can show this a little bit more. Yep, okay, I'm happy with that. So we don't, make sure you don't glue on that outer score line. Don't glue on that, because it'll glue the other side down. You've got to glue on this side of it. Alright, so all these flaps have to go on the side that is not going to be seen. And then that goes on there. This one is going to have a magnet on it. So what we have to do, turn this over and put a blob of glue on that. Now, it's my magnets. Now these are actually some magnets I recently bought. They're not as strong as some others I've had, but they still do the job. Trying to get them in bulk is the problem. The other ones are really expensive and you can only buy 12 at a time, and you have to use 2 together, so you're actually only getting 6 pages out of it. Right, so that's stuck there, and I'm going to put, if I can find what I've done with it, I'm going to put a bit of double-sided tape on there just to hold that down a bit. Oh, here it is. This is the everything's stuck to it. This is the Couture Creations one, and it's really, really strong. So this is not going to be seen. So I'm just going to put that over the top there, just because I don't, it's just been glued, so I don't want that to come off while I'm still working. Alright, so what we're going to do now is, oops, everything's stuck to the magnet, all this metal stuff. I'm going to get this one, and it's going to find its mate. Put a double glue on that. This actually had me a bit intrigued to begin with, but you'll see the whole purpose behind this. So put a bit of glue on there and open it, and the glue comes out over here. So we know exactly where to put the magnet. So now I'm going to take that magnet and I'm going to glue it down over here, and that will be covered with some paper in a minute. I'm just going to put a bit of tape on that as well, because I'm going to be working on the other side. Or I might work on this side actually to start with and get that one out of the way. Let's just have a look. Get rid of everything we're not using. Okay. So that's our arm, that's going to go across there. See how that just connected itself? Alright, so, where's the bit of paper I was going to put on there? Okay. I thought I might use that part for this arm that's going to come across here. Just think that'll look really nice there. So, I did think about using that other part there for this arm. I think I can still do that. So let me see how much I need here for the bigger piece, and then I'll see if I'm going to have enough left. So that's where I'd have to cut that one, and then yeah, I've got plenty left. Okay. Yep, okay, so I'll cut that piece off. Now just remember, as I said, these are all scraps. These are all pieces that have just been left over. I'll just give it a fraction further. So I put that one aside to go with that. I will have to cut that down. So that's going to go the flap over the front. That's going to be on the very front, so you know that's like a show piece, that one, because it's going to cover everything there. Okay, so now this one, now this is not from this paper, but it's got a similar sort of pattern on it. I've actually used every piece of this that I've got except tiny little scraps. This is about all I've got left, and that one, it's not wide enough, you see, it's nowhere near wide enough. I've got that one that's similar, but I think that's a bit too plain. So let's have a look. If I do this, it's a bit of measuring on this, but I mean, I'm one of those that mostly eyeballs things, so you know, I'm pretty happy to do that. Cut that piece off. I figure if I can do these, anybody can. Put that aside. Now I'll just measure the depth that I need for that, and again, I like to give it about 1/8. Cut that bit off there. Now this is different paper, but it's similar, so I'm happy to use that. There's my marker over here. Get that straight. Right. Cut that off. Not sure if that one's wide enough. No, that's not wide enough for the back. I might have to scrounge a bit for the other piece. Okay, so I want that one on there. That looks alright. I'm happy with that. Okay. Bit of glue. As I said, a lot of people use double-sided tape on this. The only reason I don't is because I like to have that bit of wriggle room. If I get it on crooked, I can't move it with double-sided tape. Right, so we get that centered as best we can there. A little bit of a gap top and bottom. Okay, so happy with that. Now we shall find a scrap for here. I haven't got anything that's not wide enough, as I said, so that can go in the scrap pile. That one I might use. Oops, hang on, I've just found another one. No, that's not wide enough either. Now, so here's one of the things that you can do. If you really wanted to do that, what did I do with that other piece before? Okay, if you really wanted to do that, there's two things you could do here. You could put your piece up there. You could put a piece down the bottom. You could actually make a pocket. If you wanted to put a pocket in there, you could do that. But it's very narrow, so I wouldn't do that. You could put that there. You can cut this a bit smaller and put that there to make it wider. But I'm just going to put another piece. The other thing that you can do, and I'll show you, I'll just find it. Can't remember where it was now. In another one that yeah, here we go. These pieces weren't quite deep enough, and so I use the these from this is from the Gentleman's Collection. The other one's still sitting in my Go Press. Here it is. So this is the one I used. And I just made a little border, you know, similar to what I did on the pocket on here, but I did it with these foiled borders. Oops, sorry, my magnets are sticking to everything here. So that's the one I used, and I just put those there, and then just to make it a little bit different, that was another. These are borders off the top of the pages. You know how, I'll just show you how you get on your 12 by 12s, you have these little borders. Well, that's what these are. I don't think that one's actually, no, that one's actually from a page. I think this one was from a border. That's a border. I use those quite a bit. Just trying to get them all over the place here. See, that one's got a border on it. They all have a border, and you can use them in all sorts of different ways. But I just find them really great when your pieces of paper that you've actually got are not quite deep enough for pockets and things. That's what you can do with them. All right, so that's what I'm going to, what you could do here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to find another piece that I've got that I can put on there, and I think it's going to be that one, because I don't honestly think, no, that one I think I tried before. I hang on, here's another one here. No, that's not wide enough. No, I've got a whole heap of scraps here. That one might have been alright. These are all leftover pieces from the mini album as I've been making it. So I just throw them into a basket. See, that one I could cut and put on there. That would be alright, and that matches up. So that might be alright. Let's do that. So we'll have to measure that one and cut it. Cut that down first. I try to keep the pages so that they all blend well together. Right, so that one's cut. Now we just measure there and cut that one down. I mean, these are fiddly. They're definitely fiddly to make, but I get a lot of satisfaction out of doing these, and I make them for friends for gifts. This one will be going to a friend. Okay, right, so that's right. I'm just going to pull that off because it'll stick down a bit better. And I'm going to glue the back of this. One of the biggest problems I have is choosing the papers, particularly when they've got stuff like this on the back, because I don't want to use them, but you just have to sometimes, don't you? Okay, let's try and get this in the right spot, because that double-sided tape is not going to give me much movement. Now, if you could do that, what I just did, and get glue there, make sure that it's all dried off, because when you close that over, it's going to stick. It'll stick onto here and you won't be able to open your flap. So just make sure that's all gone. I'll just give that a bit of a rub over with the detailer. Creative detailer. See how that glue's coming off? I love it for this. I love it for foil, but I love it for the glue. It just gets all those little bits off. Okay, flap's done. Pocket's done. So the last thing we've got left to do, I'll just get rid of some of those scraps out of the way. Just makes it a bit messier to work. So that's the piece we're going to use. I see all these are huge amounts of scrap. I used a full 12 by 12 piece. I think this is the one I'm going to use, not that one. I used a whole 12 by 12 pack, I should say, for this mini album, and I went out and I bought another I think 6 sheets, but I've still got, I think, at least, let me see, 4. I've still got 4.5 of those sheets left that I bought. So I think I've done, pretty well with that. Okay, so this one is going to come from this side, from the left. So I'll put that on there and I'll measure that where I've got to do my scoring. You can leave that whole piece on there if you want to. If you want to put that all the way over the back, you can. I just find what I've done with my scoreboard under all the papers again. Okay, so again, we do that at the score mark, and then we do it 1/8 again. Aside, fold that over. I'm sorry you can't really see it very well because it's black, but that's the colour I've chosen for this album, so that's what I've got to use. Okay, get that all folded down and scored. Now this one is coming over on this side. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't put a magnet on here, and I really can't do anything about it now. I should have put a magnet underneath that paper so that I could have that one as a magnet. I can't do anything about it. It's all stuck. I just can't do it. So it's just going to have to go without one. I mean, you don't have to have a magnet on it, you really don't. I just prefer it because it holds it down a bit more secure. Okay, so I'm holding that with that outer score line. That's where I want that. In fact, I could maybe bring that down just a fraction. I don't want to cover all of this emblem up. Don't mind covering a little bit. Okay. Now that, I know that looks like it's over the side, but once this is glued and that's up, see how it comes back? Alright. So we get that to that outer piece. Just double check it's in the right spot. Yep. Alright, happy with that. Put some glue down. As I said, you can cut that big flap off. It doesn't really matter, it's not going to be seen. I'll take this off. I think I'll just move that then. Come on, off you come. Just got to double check now, because I've got to cover that arm up. Okay. Bring that right up to the edge and fold it down. And that's covered that magnet as well. Right, and that comes up so that when there's, see how that's pulled it back to the edge there, so that when there's mats and things in there, it's got a bit of room. Right, so what we've got to do now, we've got to put a piece in there, we've got to put a piece over the top. So this is the piece I've chosen for the front. So now I've got to decide, I think I want all of that pattern on there. Just going to take off that mark. I always do it a little bit bigger than where I've marked it. Just take that pencil mark off. Move that out of the way. I've finished with that scoreboard now, so I'll get rid of that. That down there, and now I'm going to mark the other side. I'll just bring that out a bit just so I can see it a bit better. Just move that there. Bring in the guillotine again. Check that. I don't think I've left quite enough there. I'm just going to take a tiny bit more off. Haven't taken much, but I think it'll be better. Yeah, that's better. So you can actually see the black along here now. So that can be glued down. You can use any sort of tacky glue on this if you don't want to use double-sided tape. As long as it's just something you can move about, that's really the main thing for me. Just to give me that bit of wriggle room. Just make sure that's straight. Because once the glue holds, that's it, you can't move it again. Is that straight? I don't know that that's quite straight. Okay. Alright. So that's the page. I've got to do the inside one. That's what our page looks like. Put that one and that one in your pocket. So I'll just find some paper for this one now. And then we're done. No, that's going the wrong way if I do that. That one would be alright. That one would, that's probably a better fit actually, because the colour's very similar. I like that pattern. I'm just going to get rid of, no, I might leave that on there actually. That actually looks quite nice. So let's measure that. just, that's where I've cut the top, and I haven't cut it quite the whole lot off. I've just left a tiny border accidentally, so I'll just do that. That looks about right. Cut this. Make sure when you're cutting them, make sure they're straight. No, I just let that go then, and I think I've gone crooked. Yes, I have. Let me get it straight. It's not much, you know, you can see. It's not much, but it's enough that people will be able to see that. So, right, that's fine there. I want that nice pattern on there. So now I'll get my other measurement. Just keep it away a little bit from the fold. Just give that a little bit there. Alright, that can go on there. Just get it close enough to the edges that it's going to glue it down properly. It will squirt out a bit as you, it will squirt across. That's why I've kept them away from the edges a little bit. So put that on there. Right, now if I want to make a pocket there, which I think I will do that, I'm going to put a little piece of that on there. I'm going to find this piece, which matches this piece. So I'm going to cut this down and just put that on there. I'm just trying to see where it's got the most sort of pattern. That one, look, see that actually matches with that. So how about we'll cut that. That down there to start with. This is how easy it is to make a pocket for these. Which way did I have it? That way. Okay. So now I've got to work out, just take that bit of pencil mark off. Now I've got to work out how deep I want it, and I don't want it really deep. Actually, I shouldn't have measured this yet because I've got to do my black cardstock for the pocket. The width is the thing that's going to change, not the depth. I think I'll only have it about that depth. So we'll mark it there, cut that bit off. So now we've got, oh, that's a bit of rubbish. Now we've got the pocket for there. But what we've got to do is that will have to be cut that way because I've got to put a piece of black cardstock. Just bear with me while I find a narrower piece. There we go. Now that's too big, but I'm going to glue that on there. I'll get that. Actually, no, I'm going to measure this first. I'm going to have to cut it down, but I'll the depth. But I'll just cut that bit. Throw that away. That's too small to use. Okay, so I'm going to cut that down because that's too deep for what I want. I could put my paper on that now. Now you see what I was saying about I should have waited because now I have to cut that off there. So what I'm going to do, make sure that I don't cut this card too small. So I'll just put a mark on there. I'll decide when it's on there whether I put that border on or not. Put that piece in the scrap. I doubt that I'll use that with the cardstock, but you just never know. Okay, so that goes on there. Yep, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to just stretch that a bit. And now that will go on there. Now with this one, we only glue 3 sides because it needs to be open at the top. And I don't think I actually told you that when I did the other pocket. But if you glue all the way around, it's totally sealed. And yes, I have done that. It's starting to clog up a bit, I think. That's a bit better. Okay, that's a bit too close there. Right, let's get this down. And look, don't worry if you've got, there's a tiny bit showing. I'll pull that over that side so that one's covered. There's a little bit showing there. It's not going to matter. Right, that's going to go on there. I don't know that I need that other piece that I was thinking. I was thinking of cutting that down and putting that up there. I don't think I need that. Now I'll just measure this piece. Cut that off. I think that'll be enough. Let's have a look. Yep, that's perfect. So I'll put that on there. Let's see how I've got that is open at the top, and you can get, it's not quite set yet, so it's still picking up, but you can get your piece in there. Alright, so glue this one down. Make sure we got that on the right way. Yep, that's the continuation of that pattern, which was just pure luck, more than planning. Oh, I think that looks quite nice, and you can put some, you have to have small photos if you're going to put photo mats in there. That have to be small bits. Okay, that is that page done. Get rid of this rubbish. Alright, so what we can do now, I'll just show you it again. We've got this outer arm with a pocket, inner arm, and your photo mats will go in there. So it'll have, some photo mats that will stick in here. Oops, that started to stick there. I have to fix that up. Photo mats will go in there, that will hold them down, or you can have bigger ones, it'll hold them down. That's the whole point of that arm. So that goes down, that goes over there, and this will go in to our page. So how about we glue that down and we'll be done then. So you put plenty of glue on here, always plenty of glue, because we don't want them falling out of our pages, out of our album. Again, a lot of people use the double-sided tape, but I just like to make sure I can move it around and get it exactly where I want. Now what I do like to do, I don't know if you can see because it's black, I like to leave a small border. Well, this one's stuck down onto there so you can't really see. I like to leave a small border on, depending on which one it's on, the left or the right. And then there's plenty of room in here for the extra bulk that's going to go in it with the, when we put the photos and photo mats in. So I'm just going to leave a small border. Can you see? I don't know if you can see that. That's just a small border there. I'll move that up a little bit more. And you see there's a border, still a border there like that one. So now what we have to do, we're going to burnish this down. So I like to give it a bit of a rub. And as I said, I'm no expert at this. I'm pretty new at doing these. I only started doing these like this sort. I think it was last year, late last year I started, but I hadn't done this particular style before. The one that I did in Butterfly Garden, that was the first that I ever done in this sort of style, and I'm still learning so much with it. So the other thing that I like to do when I've got pockets I just like to get a bone folder and just make sure that's burnished right down. I don't want that to come off. I absolutely don't. Just be careful there. That's the magnet. So if you've got a magnet, be careful you don't rip the paper, which I nearly did. Alright, so it looks to me like it's pretty well stuck down. Where you've got any of these bands and things, just give it an extra push because it's thicker and it's got to glue through. That's better. See, that was sticking out quite a bit. Okay, so that's that done. As I said, that would have been better with a magnet there. That would have, I should have put a magnet on there and one under there, and that would have stuck down better, but that's okay. I'm not particularly really unhappy. I've still got to embellish it. I haven't done any embellishments in this yet. I haven't embellished the front. It's just plain paper, just from the Gentleman's Emporium. So I've still got to do that. Hopefully my next blog post will be a video of this finished. I'm not sure how much embellishment I'm going to put in this because honestly I don't think it needs a huge amount. You know, it's not a girly sort of album. Anyway, I'll leave that for the next blog post. By then I will have got this embellished. Okay, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.